if you're like me and you've suffered with depression for your whole life, you know that when you get into one of those feelings, one of those depressive episodes, it's the last thing you want to do is to get up and move around or do anything. But the reality is that the sooner you do get up and start moving around, the better you're going to start feeling, and the more that the things are going to look different. Your perspective is going to change. It helps to get your thoughts going into a more motivated, a lighter direction. And it took me a long time to get to that point to where I could force myself to do that on those days. Things are much better for me today than they once were. But depression is something that I've dealt with my whole life. It can be, a lot of times it's a chemical imbalance with a lot of people where they require medication, antidepressants. Sometimes it can just be stem from a past traumatic event in your life. And with myself, I've tried antidepressants. I've tried 5 or 6 different kinds in my past, and I never could get past the 2-week mark. I just couldn't deal with those negative side effects that came with them. I just always felt like I'd rather just deal with the problem than to have to also deal with all those negative side effects on top of it. So I chose just to go to the natural route, and that's when I found that EFT tapping technique. And that helped me more than talk therapy or antidepressants or anything else. That, and also my love for working out, which I've always done. I've always been an extremely active person. But there have been times during those depressive episodes that I could not get myself up to work out, to do anything. And that can be really tough, So I remember one day that I was, I had so much depression that I was laying there crying nonstop. And the longer I laid there, the worse I was feeling, the heavier I was feeling. And so it wasn't long before that I had learned about this EFT tapping technique. And I thought to myself, I was in such misery that I was willing to give anything a try. And so I thought, might as well give that little silly tapping thing a try, because I kind of thought it was silly at first. So I started tapping. I had to force myself to do it. I really did. But I started tapping. And I don't remember what I said, but I basically just started tapping without saying anything. And then the words came, and then the thoughts came, and the words came. And within about 10 or 15 minutes, everything looked completely different to me. And then, that is no lie. I got up, I went out there, and I started working out. And I wasn't feeling that heaviness that I was 15 minutes before that, when I was laying on that couch, crying so hard, and feeling like as though I was ready to give up on life altogether. And I just did that. And it had an amazing healing effect. Not that it takes it away like magic, but it can get you to a level to where you can at least feel a little more balanced, a little more calm, and seeing things in a little bit better light than you did. So it's worth a try. Doing the EFT is worth a try. And like I say, I've worked with many different people in this EFT business that I've had, and or EFT practice that I've had, and many of them have had those same feelings. They've suffered with depression for years. Some people have only suffered for a short amount of time due to some kind of traumatic, recent traumatic event. But nevertheless, once I started working with them on this EFT, they started noticing a difference in their life. They started noticing how much better they were feeling on a daily basis. And that's only if you do it on a consistent basis. So it's like anything else. It takes time, you know. And this is not to say that you could replace medication with this, because if you're clinically depressed, I think there's, you know, no way around getting around taking some kind of medication, antidepressant for that. But if you, I don't think that I was ever clinically depressed, but if you just suffer from just general depression, and that can also, depression can also come from prolonged anxiety and worrisome thoughts. And that is something that I've dealt with my whole life. Ever since I was a kid, I've had anxiety issues. So that prolonged time, it can turn into depression. So if you care to, please just give the EFT, just give it a try. And if you don't like it, that's fine, but at least you tried something. And this, you know, like I say, this video is for anyone that may suffer with that depression, such as like I do. And I hope that this can maybe be a tool that you can use to help yourself. So until the next time, thank you so much for watching. I know this may have been a little too lengthy for a video, but the next time I'll choose another subject, another issue. Maybe it'll hit home with your life, where you're at today. And until then, thanks for watching. Bye.